Greetings and salutations. Welcome to a video about audio. Welcome to the Music Room Tour 2025, where I'm going to show you all of my audio equipment and how this is set up. Those of you who have been following the channel for a long time will remember that in 2023 in November, I put this room together. It's the first time that I've had a dedicated listening room probably in about 20 years. So I have messed around in here and made some improvements and some changes. And so let's go ahead and take a look. Also, there's a lot of people who have subscribed to the channel recently. And I want to thank you for doing that. 134 subscribers in the last month, it says. So that's very cool. We'll start with the speakers. These are Polk Signature Elite ES15 surround monitors, they call them. They can be hung on a wall. The speakers have a very unique port on these. If I look straight down, you can see that it takes the output from the port and spreads it out on either side. So these can be wall mounted. I have them on stands, and of course I'm using them as my main speakers. Also, to go along with that, I have a Polk subwoofer, which you cannot see because it is behind this big blue divider thing here. It's just a box anyway. It's a PSW10, and what I really like about it is that I can send left and right high power right out of the amplifier. I don't need a special subwoofer output or anything like that, and it will do the filtering and make that work just perfectly. And the crossover is set about 90, and it works great in this room. The big blue thing is here because it acts as a sort of an absorber for echo in here, and it is set up in such a way that the audio from this speaker doesn't interfere with the audio from this speaker. So it directs it and also absorbs it a little bit so that you don't get a great deal of crosstalk. And when you're sitting right in the middle here in front of that turntable is the center of the room, it's like wearing headphones, but you're listening to speakers. So let's jump down and take a look at what's in the rack, and we'll work our way over that way. So in the top of this rack here, and it's hard to see, I know, because of the way this is set up, it is a Tascam CDRW900 Mark II CD recorder. And in my last video where I was talking about the Emerson CD player, this was a big hit. People were like, huh? You use this to record CDs? Yes, it records CDs. And I also take the output from this Sony CDP CE275 5-disc changer and run it in here optically. So I take the digital output from here and put it into that because this has a 24-bit DAC in it. It's an AKM that's also an ADC, so it's an analog to digital converter. It works both ways. This entire box is built around that DAC and all of its capabilities. I got a hold of the data sheet for it and looked it up. It's very interesting indeed, and I keep forgetting the number, and I keep forgetting to look it up. I was going to write it down. I mean, I have notes and everything, but I didn't. So you can look that up if you want to, but it's very interesting. It's a Velvet Sound DAC. I like the sound of it. When you look up this particular machine, there is one guy in this forum that is just tearing this thing apart because he doesn't like the sound, and he's comparing it to a Sony like this one. The two DACs sound very different. The Sony's DAC is very bright and punchy and sharp, and the Velvet Sound DACs are very smooth and very warm, very nice sound indeed. That's one of the reasons that I usually listen with the digital going here, because I like that sound. The outputs on these, you've got balanced and unbalanced. You've got optical and digital in and out. These are great machines. And I use them a lot of times to copy things from records. I'll put them on CD, then rip them into the computer, and then process the file. It's all going to be 1644.1 anyway, so no big deal there. And then the Sony here, which is a really nice machine. I heard from a guy on the last video who said that CD changers were not big in the UK, and you didn't see them very often. I have had several through the years. I think they're fun to play with. And this is a Cream Puff. I bought it on eBay. It's from 2003. I bought it refurbished about, I don't know, it's been probably 6 years ago now or something like that, and it just works beautifully. And then down here we have the Sony STR DH90 receiver, which is so ridiculously cheap I have skipped over them many times thinking, oh my god, this must be a piece of junk. It's not. It's actually really good. It sounds wonderful. Puts out 90 watts per channel, and the only downside to this machine that I can find is the FM radio sucks. It's an afterthought, but I don't listen to a whole lot of radio, so it doesn't matter. The Bluetooth actually sounds great, and you get 4 analog inputs on this bad boy. Nice little receiver, and it has become my main receiver. And I didn't think I would keep it when I bought it, honestly. I thought I was going to give it away, sell it, do something with it. I bought it to do a YouTube video, and I went, hey, I like the way that sounds. Down here is the Emerson. This is a CD150A from 1985, my most recent video. I just did that about that machine. Found this on eBay. I got rid of a whole bunch of junk. Right after the first of the year, I went around and pulled junk from under beds and out of closets, and I donated it all to a fellow who is just starting a shop. I figured if you can use it, great. And one of those that went was the Denon 810 CD player I mentioned in my last video about CD pre-emphasis that won a while back. I killed that machine because I tried to tweak it. I wanted to see if I could get it to play CDRs, and ended up blowing up the laser. And I was like, nope, that's it. I'm not going to buy any more junk CD players. But then this one just called out to me. And if you want to know why, watch the video. So, very cool indeed. Here we are at the back of the rack, looking down on the floor, shaky shake. And this is my little power station I picked up for cheap. It does have a light that indicates that it's grounded, plus it has surge protectors on it. And it also has a power supply in there for USB. So that's nice if anybody needs to charge something, but that's not why I bought it. I bought it because I was actually thinking about buying a power conditioner. And for the money that I had to spend, most people said that I would probably be better off just buying one of these, especially since the subwoofer is pulling 100 watts and the Sony is pulling nearly 200 watts. If there was a sudden draw of current, then a small power conditioner might get swamped. So this is why I went with this. And it's worked out well for a power supply, just distribution system for this small setup. Turntable time. This is a Fluence RT85. Very nice turntable indeed. I bought this new. Mine came with the Nagolka MP110. I had a problem with that cartridge, and so I sent the cartridge back and kept the turntable. And I have really enjoyed it. I decided, cartridge-wise, that I was going to get Stanton cartridges and just stay with those, because every cartridge I've ever owned, I'm comparing my mind to a Stanton, so I said forget it. And the gods of audio smiled upon me at the end of last summer, and I was able to find a Stanton 680 EE cartridge, just about new. And it has a Stanton D680 stylus on it, which is 0.3 by 0.7 elliptical, and it tracks at the stylus tips at a very light 1¼ gram. So I use this machine mainly to play back LPs. It is a belt-driven turntable. It has a solid 3.5-pound acrylic platter on it. I highly recommend these machines. The only thing I don't like about it is that the designers thought it would be fun to put these spring-loaded rubber feet on this thing. And instead of isolating it, it actually makes it go kind of ka-doing if you touch it. And so it's a rather lively turntable, but beyond that, the sound is great. The tone arm is very high quality. It is an S-shaped tone arm, so you could use Concord cartridges on this, and you can swap out any SME-style head shell that you please. Right next to it, we have the Dual CS618Q. This turntable is a Dual from Germany. This was actually built in Germany. Many of its successors were built in China. This is part of the first 100 that were handmade there by the engineers at Dual before they sent it off to other factories. And this is serial number 96. And I picked this up a couple of years ago from a place called Hi-Fi Heaven in Wisconsin. It was a demonstrator unit, and they were going for about $1,300 new. They immediately sold out as soon as they hit the market. I was very lucky to find this one. I bought it for right at $1,000. And this also has a Stanton cartridge on it these days. It's a Stanton 680EL, but instead of the EL stylus, it has a Stanton 6807, which is a conical stylus that was designed for the 681A. These are moving iron cartridges, and the design is 40 or 50 years old now. Nothing made today sounds like this, and I can say that with authority. This particular stylus is perfect for playing 45s. You want a conical stylus for 45s. This tracks at 2¼ grams, and it's just perfect for playing back polystyrene and vinyl 45s. And so this machine is mainly set up for doing that. Of course, I also use it to play like mono albums and things like that as well. This machine is more leaning toward albums with the elliptical stylus. I use the internal preamp in this machine. It's a very good one. I use the preamp in the Sony for this machine, and I have one of those Project Connect-It cables, which run about $70. I know that sounds like a lot of money for a cable, but they're tuned cables, and they're worth the money. The EQ on this cartridge compared to this cartridge is exactly the same. There's no extra capacitance buildup in that cable at all. You have to remember, with this particular turntable, the amplifier is right in the turntable. There's no leads to cause problems with loading. With the Connect-It going to the Sony amplifier down here, no problems at all. And by the way, that's another thing about the Sony STR HD90. It has a wonderful, wonderful phono preamp in it. The only bad thing about these machines, they both have some sort of auto stop feature at the end. The Fluence will just simply stop spinning the platter and leave the tone arm sitting on the record in the groove. This one will actually lift the arm. The problem is that these days they don't know how to build the circuitry to detect when the record is over properly. The really good turntables from the days of yore had velocity detectors. When it would get down toward the end of the record and it would go into the run-out groove, that thing would speed up. And that's how you would know that the record was done. And it's just about foolproof. It doesn't matter where the modulation on the record ends. It could be very close to the label. This is a system that always works. When you have a fixed point, when you say, okay, the record must be over, let's raise it or stop it, if the record's cut close to the label, they get it wrong, especially with 45s. Neither one of these turntables will work properly with long 45s. So guess what? I just switch it off. And I suggest you do the same. One of the things I wanted to show you was my turntable covers. I strongly recommend you get you some of these if you're going to have a nice turntable when you're not using it. It keeps your acrylic tops from being all scratched up from things being set on it and dust on it and stuff like that. They're available online. This one I bought online, and this one my mom made for me many, many years ago. She's quite the seamstress. And the final piece of equipment we'll talk about here is this Dell Satellite little computer that is called Music Box, and I use it to play streaming audio into the Bluetooth on the Sony amplifier, which actually sounds very good. And setting this up, I learned a lot about Bluetooth, and I was able to take advantage of the SBC XQ codec settings, and that makes it sound really, really good. I was going to invest in a DAC, and I was going to run a USB cable over to the DAC to run into the amplifier. And after I heard how good the Bluetooth sounded, I was like, no, for what I'm going to do, that's fine. Because when I'm streaming stuff, I'm just not really, it's not for like really intense listening, right? I mean, it's just to have some nice noise playing. So I just have a playlist set up, bunch of playlists over here, and stream my digital audio collection. That's how I do it. And there's a whole video about how this got set up. There are videos about all of this stuff. You can just go to the channel and look back at them. And they're pretty easy to find. Just go to my channel and then click videos and scroll down. You'll see them. I've only made like 12 videos in the last year. So you'll see videos for all this stuff. Plus, it's really super easy to search as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Comments, suggestions, all kinds of ideas for what you would like me to talk about here on the channel, audio-wise or computer-wise. Let me know. I'd appreciate it. And I hope we all have a great 2025. Talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Almost forgot. Headphones. Headphones. Sennheiser HD 650s. And these are AKG M220s. I like them both. So I like to rock out with these. And the Sennheisers are very clean and very crisp. And they're nice for very critical listening. So there you go. Almost forgot. Talk to you guys again soon. Oh, turn it around so you can see Sennheiser correctly. Jeez. No, I'm not doing another take of the video. They're headphones. Go read reviews elsewhere. And look, I had notes. I didn't even look at them. Bye, y'all.